So obviously the gateways, you've had the plan for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
How did it first come to be?
Oh gosh, I think we just recognized a need for wanting to have a visual icon to kind of be a landmark of downtown Columbia. The zoo has Jesse Hall in the columns, but we didn't really have something downtown to be that welcoming, symbol of Columbia.
Yeah, so obviously it's a public project, it's
Mhm.
public works, so how did public input shape the planning of the project?
Well, we have a committee and a board who have had a lot of say on kind of the project and how it's come to be. The public has been really positive about it. It seems like Columbia is a town that really does appreciate public art, so it's been really fun and easy to put it together.
And how did you put the committee together?
Well, the committee is actually formed from our board. It has to have members of our board, and then there are just members of the community who were particularly interested in gateways and wanted to get involved.
Okay, and for this project, will you be working with any city departments? I imagine there's some collaboration.
Yeah, we've worked with Parks and Rec. We're working with the North Village Arts District for a Gateway celebration. There's a lot of collaboration with a lot of different organizations.
Okay, since you're using city departments, how much
Mm-hmm.
how much of the project do you think will be publicly funded and how much will be privately funded?
It's actually mostly privately funded. The first 3 light hubs that have gone up were funded by the CID money, the district's money, and the CID were funded by a half-cent sales tax for all the sales in downtown Columbia. But aside from that, it's being funded by grants and private loans, and so it's not actually going to be using a ton of public funds.
So when I did some research on this, it talked about how, and read the master plan, it talked about how the project aims to promote Columbia's traditions or culture. What particular aspects of that do you hope to promote with this project?
Yeah, so eventually we want to have these light entry poles. I don't know if you saw those when you were looking, but they're going to have the autographs of famous Missourians on there, so that's one of the cool ways that we're trying to incorporate Missouri history into it. And so those will be illuminated, and you can actually go up and see, Mark Twain or whoever it might be. So.
And I mentioned the master plan. Is there any way the final product differs? I know most of it hasn't been constructed yet.
Yeah, it might. I think we're pretty set on the elements that we've chosen. We'll see we're waiting to hear back from some grants. We're kind of seeing what the next step will be. It'll be a while before we see all of it come together. I don't imagine that the plans of what will actually go up will change that much. I just imagine it'll take a while before we get them all up there.
So you touched on it, but what is the timeline exactly? Is there anything specific?
We would love to have it basically done by 2021, which is the bicentennial of Columbia. So the 200th anniversary of Columbia, we'd love to have that plaza with the big Columbia entryway. So we'll see.
Earlier in the semester, I talked to Mike Griggs, who's the director of Parks and Rec, and we talked about the Flat Branch renovations. Yes. How does that tie into this project? Because I know the Flat Branch area is part of it.
Yeah. We'll see, because they're working on that project and kind of seeing how that park is going to transform, and we're going to try to incorporate some sort of gateways. Gateways and the park are hopefully going to overlap, so you can go see the big gateway entryway, and it'll be in Flat Branch Park.
Okay. That's pretty much everything
cool.
I had. Thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Is it just you in this office right now?
Right now, yeah. There's 3 of us, but our office manager is part-time,